So we'll talk about some of the options. So the first one, your learning management system. And I think some of the challenges that the learning management system presents is, first of all, a lot of them are on-prem. So if you got remote workers and they're having to VPN in and you have multiple VPN connections, first of all, it's expensive. Second of all, it'll be a slow experience. So I just don't think that's the best solution. Now, not all LMSs are on-prem, but a lot of them are. The next one is the complaint we hear from employees, the static learning experience. Often the LMS training is pretty static. And so what you see is low participation, you see low engagement, and high employee apathy. And so I think traditional learning management systems are not well suited for upskilling remote staff. I think we've got to look to other solutions. Another option is live video conferencing, and certainly I think it has a place. I think the ability to broadcast to multiple people at once and get some FaceTime and in-person conversation is good, but inherently that experience is still passive, and so learners are prone to distraction, especially when you're at home and you're on your computer. You can certainly be multitasking. When you're multitasking, you're not going to absorb much of what's being presented. So I think ultimately it's probably not the most effective solution for a remote staff. And then the last thing is, there's certainly some limited tracking capabilities. You can see who attended, but you're not really going to get much in terms of retention, comprehension, and impact. So video conferencing, I think, has a place, but I don't think it can be a staple. Online courses are another option, the kind that you buy sort of canned solutions from companies like Udemy or Lynda and stuff like that. Those can be great. And I think they have a place as well, but again, they're kind of passive, usually mostly videos, PowerPoints, and some exercises. So I think they're good, but they're not going to drive the type of repetition you need. People typically take that course once and they're done. And I don't think that's necessarily going to drive the best learning outcomes, and the retention rate's going to be a little bit lower. And then, of course, the tracking, again, is kind of limited. You're just going to have completions. But I think probably the biggest issue is, through the pandemic, so many different programs and policies, as I mentioned earlier, you need custom solutions. You need the ability to roll out training that talks about the new policies on how to work remotely, or protocols for being in branch, and so on and so forth. There's all sorts of different things. The world is changing fast, and so we need custom training and not just sort of canned stuff. And then the last thing about the online courses is they're expensive because you're paying per user. And per user, for one course, it can be a couple of $100. So if you take that and multiply it by an entire workforce, it can get pretty expensive.